It's still October 5th. Where do I begin? So, I mean, it's winter time. It's winter. It's fall. It's fall. And you know, spiders kind of just come out during this time. and I've been seeing more and more of them in different parts. But just now there was one that was like right about here as I was eating, and I was like, I didn't know it was a spider. I kept going because I thought it was a hair of mine. I had my hair up. And I just see this, like, it's just very light, very light. So I thought it was like one of my gray hairs. So, and it flew. And you know, if you guys remember that scene from Charlotte's Web, right? When all the baby spiders are like flying through the sky. That's what it reminded me of. But I didn't know it was a spider. I kept blowing at it, and then finally I was like, okay, let me take it down. And then I go like this, and it's a little baby spider. And so I was just like, oh. I didn't freak out like I normally would, right? I'm just like, all right, let me take you outside. So I took it outside. But then I was trying to remember, I'm like, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean, right? Spiders. So I look it up, and it reminds me, right? Around this time last fall. Was that last fall? I think it was. And just the continued theme of, you know, spiders. I'm grateful that I'm not as freaked out about them like I used to be. Now that I know what the meaning is and I'm working with it. So that was nice. That's nice, just that in itself, to not freak out about spiders like I used to. And so, and you know, the website that I looked up, it talks about like this, how you respond to them, right? It kind of speaks to how you respond to just your daily life and you know, when things come up for you. So I was thinking about that. And then just reflecting on the sessions this morning and this continued theme of just, you know, the line of work that I do. And knowing that a big piece of it, 'cause, you know, when you're focused on CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy, there's this essence of restructuring, reframing, right? These unhelpful thoughts or beliefs. But then there's this element of, you know, when we look at spirituality, when we look at religious, and there's this element of, you know, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to incorporate it into treatment in the sense of how your client is looking at that situation and how the constructs, right, the beliefs that they adhere to. And so that came up today a couple of times. And then I started wondering, I'm like, well, who says, right? Again, I'm doing it, and I'm trying to be mindful, right? In terms of just my experience, what I've chosen to do for me, right? Challenging these religious beliefs, these cultural beliefs, societal beliefs, right? That I am growing up in, that I've been exposed to, that I believed were truth to a certain degree, until I realized I had a choice as to how to view myself in my world. And then making those changes accordingly to feel more aligned. So as I'm hearing my clients speak and share their truth, their stories, and they have all these questions about what to do. And you know, as a therapist, you're not supposed to tell them what to do, right? And I have to kind of continue to state that with them, like repeat myself and reminding them, you know, I'm here to reflect back to you, your situation, and ask you questions and get you to think. And ultimately, right, I mean, the goal behind that is to get you to listen to your intuition, listen to yourself, trust yourself, right? that you know the answers for your own path. And so then, as they're sharing their truth and the challenges, there's this element of these beliefs that are coming out. They're playing out. That's just what happens, right? With all of us. And there's a part of me that's, trying to navigate that and figure out, okay, well, how much of this continued reflection back, right? I mean, it feels more comfortable to reframe unhelpful thinking patterns, right? And these thinking errors, if you will, or these beliefs that aren't helpful in terms of how they view their world. But what about when it comes to beliefs about religion, right? How do you do that without rocking their world? Without making them feel scared that these beliefs, right? Because they're questioning, and the thing is that they're questioning it at the same time. They're very close to questioning these constructs for themselves. So there's this fragile dance in terms of, me being aware of like, okay, it's not about me, it's about them, right? And posing these questions in a way that they need to make the ultimate choice, right? It's their choice how they choose to move forward. And so then, that's kind of what's come up lately. It's this continued theme, this continued pattern of them struggling to align themselves because of these beliefs that they hold on to. So there's that. And then there's this theme about dreams is coming up. And just listening to your intuition and helping them pay attention to that, right? In the sense of like, it comes from somewhere. Regardless of your religious belief. And I'm assessing at the same time, like, what is it that you normally believe in regards to religion and spirituality? There's documented research that people with some type of religious or spiritual belief, right? It helps. It's one of many factors, protective factors, that contributes to their ability to become resilient, to move forward in life, right? And it's all about perspective. Where's my book? I took the time this morning to read my world religion book. It was brought up in that too. I finally finished the first chapter of Hinduism, so now I'm back to where I started with Buddhism, and I signed up for morning meditation, so I'm gonna work on that, and I'm looking forward to that. And but there was an element. It was really interesting when I was learning about Hinduism, and this element about life and perspective, right? It's how you look at your situation. It's how you look at yourself and the world that you live in, and the things that unfold in front of you, right? And I've heard people say that this pull towards someone, right, is not necessarily a pull that's like meant to be. It's this trauma pull. It's this like attracts like to a certain degree. And so then if you're struggling with something, you're going to attract someone who may be struggling with the same thing. and really this emotional connection, the situationship that you find yourself in, the purpose of that was just to bring into your awareness the things that you need to work on. That's the purpose of that situationship, whatever that may look like, right? And realizing, right, that, and I'm seeing it unfold, right? Not only with myself, but with my clients, this attraction, right, that people are continuously drawn towards. There's this societal belief that, oh, it's true love and this and that, right? We give in to these these societal expectations, if you will, about how love is supposed to be. And through this experience, I'm clearly learning, right, that it serves a purpose. Every connection serves a purpose. And some are really just for that alone. It's just to highlight and bring to the surface things that need addressing, wounds that may need healing, right? Now, how you continue to move through that lesson will depend on you, right? You can pick it up quickly, and do the work and move on, or you can stay stuck in it for a little bit, right? And then learn the lesson in a different way, the harder way, right? And then go through that emotional piece of it, and then move on, and still move on, right? Regardless, you're going to learn the lesson. How you learn the lesson will be up to you. And I'm laughing because it just is. It just is. And it reminds me of my dream. Again, these 3 groups of people and this clearing that I thought was occurring. And it could still be a clearing, but it's not the clearing that people fear. It's not this clearing of like, that people are going to die or go to hell, or no, it's this clearing of it's how you learn the lesson. Right? It's how you learn the lesson. It's how you get to that point of awareness, the easy way, or like the not the easy way, the choice driven way, right? When you're aware, you make the choice to go through this clearing process of yourself, right? This clearing of your soul, this clearing of these life lessons, right? And kind of like when my sister-in-law was just like asking for it. She's awake, but there's this death and rebirth that is occurring purposefully because she's asking for it. And so that's symbolic of one group. And then there's the other group, right, that was fearing it, resistance. And so until what happens, they're forced into it, right? There's this tower moment, if you will, of this boat tipping over, right? And there's chaos and fear of how you're learning the lesson, right? Or how you're being brought to awareness, right? This more intense way. And then there's the people that are lost, the people that don't get it, that either don't get it or aren't aware of it, or it's not their time to get it. It's not their time to get it, right? And so there's this wandering, there's this they're still trying to figure it out, really. They're still trying to figure it out. Working with the energy, resisting the energy, trying to figure it out. Not being aware. Right? So then it made me wonder, these stories in the Bible, these stories, these religious beliefs, right? These books, how is that being portrayed, right? Because in the Bible, there's this clear distinction of heaven and hell. Only 2. Only 2 sides. And now I'm curious to read, like, I have a copy of the Quran. Now I'm curious to see, is it also very polarized, right? I'm learning about Hinduism, completely different. It's really interesting. And to a certain degree, it's just set up differently. It's interesting. It's very fascinating. And but yeah, so anyways, that's what I was thinking about today. And yeah. On another note, I'm watching, I think I mentioned that I had seen Tokyo Story a few weeks back. And I was really taken by the movie and just how lovely it was in terms of how it was capturing just this couple's travels, their first trip to Tokyo, and just, you know, that part of life, you know, as an older couple, and you know, having these small little adventures for themselves, and meeting with their kids, all their kids, and the different stories, you know, the extension of them, so to speak, right? And you get a snapshot of what's going on with each of them and the dynamics, and it's really lovely. It was a very lovely movie, and so I was really taken by it, and I wanted to see more, and so I rented. I think it's called Autumn Afternoon. I have to go back and check. Pretty sure. And it's really interesting. It's the same. I think it's the same. The producer, director, director. I think it's director. And this one's really interesting because it reminds me of, you know, life. And the way this director captures these moments. Apparently it's a theme in his work, and but this one in particular, it's interesting to see the characters and how they're all coping through life differently, and so that was interesting to see, and again there's this I really enjoyed it. And I'm still enjoying it because I'm watching it in parts. I have to return the movie in a few days, but that's what's been standing out in terms of the theme. Is just how everyone is coping. Everyone is coping with each other in different ways. And this awareness, this self-awareness with the main character of himself, and how things are being reflected back to him to a certain degree. And then what I appreciate and really enjoy is the angle that the film is recorded in it's like it's in a corner and you're looking up, and it gives it the secretive feel to it almost, where you're peeking, you're just taking a peek into the storyline, you know, where and there's almost this element of like, I can't even, you know, I mean, you're not supposed to speak in movies, right? But this is more of like, I don't want to say anything, right? Because it's like this, you're granted this little window to see into the lives of these characters, and it almost feels like you're just being sneaky about it. Because, you know, ultimately, right? I mean, you're not invited in to the drama, to the behind the scenes, right? You're normally not invited to see what goes on behind the walls of people's lives, right? And we're so used to that. We're so used to a certain degree, right? There's still, even though now in TV there's more of these reality TV shows, and you know, I saw the commercial the other day of like teen moms, and you know, even through YouTube, right? There's more exposure, if you will, and it's more so with the reality TV though, that you see the drama, but yet it's just the drama, right? We don't really see what's going on within the soul, right? Within an individual. We just see the drama, the emotional response, the in the sense of like emotional reactivity, right? How we're just emotionally reacting to situations, right? Because it's climactic, it's intense. And yet we're still uncomfortable to do it ourselves, right? We're still uncomfortable to seek out the help that's needed, to give ourselves permission to experience the breakdown. Yeah. It's a choice. It's always a choice. There's always a choice. Even not choosing is a choice. That's all. That's it for now. More to come, of course. Alright, bye. Hi, my name is Yubi, and in case you haven't figured it out, this footage is capturing my experience as I learn to navigate my personal spiritual awakening. I am learning that this experience is unique to each one of us. In whatever way we believe we are embracing living our truth, this just happens to be my journey. And despite me having a graduate degree and a license in clinical social work, this by no means is intended to replace any type of mental health advice. This is just me on a personal level, documenting my experience, shedding light on the truth that I am learning and discovering for myself, and really inviting you along for the ride. If by some magical chance you find this content to be helpful in any way, shape, or form, please click the like button, share the message, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have an Instagram account, a personal one, and one specifically for this channel that you're more than welcome to check out. I'm an open book. I have also created t-shirt designs. I'm wearing my favorite one right now, which is the North Node design, but I have that and other things that you can look at inspired by this process and journey, and I have the link in the description box as well as in the about section of my YouTube channel. So you're more than welcome to check those items out. Any type of support is great. Again, if you find this content really helpful or meaningful, sometimes when we take that step and be vulnerable, with showing what's inside our hearts and what's really our truth, we realize that we're much more connected than what we thought we were. And so I hope that as I'm living this experience and that you find some type of truth for yourself, or find some type of ability to heal in some way just by relating, just by knowing that you're not alone. That really has been my goal with this process, not just being able to connect with others, but really for my own healing. It's definitely been a therapeutic experience and a very creative one for myself. So I thank you, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see what else comes next for me.